She was giving orders, then froze. When I said, "You look amazing today," reaches its climax when insurgent leader Karam Voss attacks the Astra Vigil. As weapon systems fail and boarders breach the ship, Lieutenant Mara Quinn and Commander Veek fight side by side. In the decisive moment, Mara grabs Aaron's hand and whispers, "Commander, you look amazing today," inspiring Veek to override security protocols and activate controlled self-destruct, forcing Voss to retreat. The Galactic Alliance warship Astra Vigil cuts through disputed space like a shark through dark waters. Our vessel is the pride of the fleet, equipped with the latest variable gravity systems, neural network AI, and high-pressure command centers that can withstand even the most violent space anomalies. I've served aboard her for 3 years now, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Well, almost nowhere. Commander Aaron Veek stands at the bridge's center, her spine impossibly straight, reviewing tactical displays with rapid eye movements that miss nothing. At 32, she's already legendary within the Alliance, decorated twice for valor during the Centauri incursions, and promoted faster than anyone in fleet history. Her reputation precedes her, ruthlessly efficient, coldly brilliant, and utterly devoted to protocol. "Lieutenant Quinn, status report on the propulsion diagnostic," she calls, without looking up from her console. "That's me. Tech Lieutenant Mara Quinn, 28, propulsion specialist, and occasionally the only person on this ship who remembers that smiling won't cause immediate decompression." I slide my diagnostic pad across the smooth surface of my station and pull up the data. Maintenance sequence at 73%. "Commander, we'll be ready to disengage from Satellite Station 9 in approximately 4 hours. Commander Veek nods curtly. "Accelerate the process. I want us ready in 3. "That's not really how maintenance protocols—" I begin, but her raised eyebrow silences me. "Yes, Commander. 3 hours. That's how it works on the Astra Vigil. Commander Veek runs the ship like a field general commanding a battlefield. Every order precise, every expectation exact, every crew member a component in her perfectly calibrated machine. There's no room for inefficiency or, heaven forbid, personality." I return to my station, trying not to sigh audibly. The maintenance bay team will have to work double time now. But that's life under Veek's command. As I transmit the accelerated schedule, I can't help but glance back at her. I've always wondered what made her this way. So tightly wound, so rigorously controlled. The Alliance values discipline, certainly, but Veek takes it to another level entirely. The thing is, beneath that icy exterior, I'm convinced there's something more. Occasionally, when she thinks no one is watching, I've caught a flicker of something else in her eyes. Not warmth exactly, but perhaps a memory of it. Like a frozen lake with something still alive moving beneath the surface. I shake off the thought and focus on the maintenance protocols. We're currently docked at Satellite Station 9, a remote Alliance outpost on the edge of disputed territory. It's not the most exciting assignment, but it beats combat rotation. The station hums with activity as techs move between our ship and the facility, running diagnostics and swapping out components. Commander Veek's voice cuts through my concentration. "All senior officers to the bridge. Maintenance teams continue as directed." Something in her tone makes me look up sharply. That's her trouble voice, the one that means our quiet day just got complicated. As I make my way to the bridge, I wonder what could have triggered the alert. We're in relatively safe space here, despite the disputed territory designation. The amber-black insurgents rarely venture this far into Alliance territory, preferring to harass civilian transports in the outer rim. When I arrive at the bridge, the atmosphere has shifted palpably. Officers move with increased urgency, and Commander Veek stands at the central command post, her face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. "Senior officers present and accounted for, Commander," announces Security Chief Lorne. Commander Veek nods sharply. At 8:43 hours, Our sensors detected unusual gravitational fluctuations in the Deck 4 section. Initial assessment suggested a malfunction in the gravity generators. The chief engineer, Ramirez, frowns. My team checked those generators yesterday. They were operating within optimal parameters. Precisely, Commander Veek continues. Which is why Lieutenant Davy initiated a deeper scan. She gestures to the communications officer, who steps forward. The scan revealed electromagnetic interference patterns consistent with targeted disruption. Davy explains, pulling up a visual display. This isn't a malfunction. It's deliberate sabotage. A ripple of tension passes through the assembled officers. Sabotage means infiltration. Someone aboard either the station or our ship working against us. Amber Black, asks Chief Lorne, voicing what we're all thinking. Commander Veek's expression hardens. The signature bears similarities to previous insurgent operations. We can't rule it out. She turns to address us all, her voice sharp as a blade. Effective immediately. I'm initiating Security Protocol Epsilon 7. All decks will be sealed and searched. No personnel movement between ship and station until further notice. Lieutenant Quinn, I need you to... A violent shudder runs through the ship, nearly knocking us off our feet. The lights flicker, and for a moment, gravity seems to waver. I grab my console to steady myself. Status report. Commander Veek's voice cuts through the momentary chaos. Major gravitational disturbance on Deck 4, calls out an ensign from the monitoring station. The entire gravity grid is fluctuating. Commander Veek doesn't hesitate. Seal off Deck 4 immediately. Security teams to defensive positions. All non-essential personnel to emergency stations. The bridge erupts into controlled activity as officers relay commands, and the ship's alert system activates with a low, pulsing tone. Commander Veek moves like a force of nature, issuing precise orders, her eyes tracking multiple displays simultaneously. I sprint to my station, fingers flying across the interface as I try to isolate the source of the interference. The patterns are unlike anything I've seen before, chaotic, yet somehow deliberate, as if someone is playing with the ship's systems. Commander, I call out. I'm detecting unusual signal patterns in the electromagnetic spectrum. They're targeting our gravity control systems specifically. Commander Veek is beside me in an instant, her presence intense and focused. Can you trace the source? Working on it, I reply, adjusting the frequency monitors to better isolate the interference. It's sophisticated, some kind of cascading signal that keeps shifting frequencies. As I work, I'm acutely aware of Commander Veek standing over me, her breath steady despite the crisis unfolding around us. Her proximity is unusual. She typically maintains a careful professional distance from her crew. There, I say, isolating a particular frequency range. The signal's originating from within our own systems, but it's being guided externally. Commander, this signal pattern is strange. Oh, you look amazing today. The words slip out before I can stop them. A random, inappropriate thought vocalized in the midst of crisis. I freeze, mortified. As Commander Veek stares at me, her command literally halted mid-sentence. For 3 full seconds, I count them in the thundering silence, she says absolutely nothing. Her usually impenetrable expression cracked open to reveal genuine shock. The bridge seems to hold its breath. Even the emergency lights seem to pause their pulsing. Then, like ice reforming over disturbed water, Commander Veek's expression hardens again. Lieutenant Quinn, focus on the task at hand. This is not the time for irrelevant observations. But something has changed. A hairline fracture has appeared in her perfectly maintained facade. And in that brief moment of disruption, I glimpse something I've never seen before in Commander Aaron Veek: vulnerability. Before I can process what just happened, she's moving away, issuing orders to the security team. Secure the propulsion control room. No one enters or leaves without my direct authorization. I turn back to my console, face burning, trying to concentrate on the signal analysis. What possessed me to say something so inappropriate in the middle of a crisis? Yet, even as I berate myself, I can't help but notice that Commander Veek keeps glancing in my direction, her expression unreadable. The crisis doesn't wait for our personal awkwardness to resolve. Another shudder runs through the ship, and this time, the gravity on the bridge itself fluctuates, sending several crew members floating momentarily before the backup systems engage. "All hands, secure yourselves," Commander Veek orders, gripping the command rail. "Quinn, I need that signal source now." I push aside my embarrassment and focus on the task. The signal's bouncing through our own communications array. Someone's using our systems against us. Commander Veek's eyes narrow. "Can you block it?" "Not without shutting down our entire communications grid," I reply, fingers racing across my console. "But I might be able to isolate it if I can get to the main computer core." Commander Veek hesitates for only a moment. "Go. Take Ensign Jorah for security. Report directly to me, no one else." I nod and move quickly to the exit, Ensign Jorah falling in beside me. As the bridge doors close behind us, I catch one last glimpse of Commander Veek, her posture rigid, her expression intense, but something else there too, something unsettled. In the corridor, Ensign Jorah gives me a sideways glance. "What was that about, Lieutenant?" "You look amazing today?" To the commander. I keep my eyes forward, focusing on our destination. A momentary lapse in judgment. "Ensign, let's focus on the mission." But inside, I'm still reeling from that moment of connection, however brief and inappropriate, when Commander Veek's carefully constructed walls showed the tiniest crack. And beneath my professional concern about the ship's systems, I find myself wondering what other surprises might lie beneath Commander Veek's icy exterior. The ship's corridors are eerily quiet, the normal bustle of crew movement replaced by the tension of lockdown protocols. Occasional announcements from the bridge echo through the empty passageways. Commander Veek's voice steady and authoritative despite the crisis. "Main computer core access is just ahead," I tell Jorah, who nods and moves to secure the area before we enter. As we approach the sealed doorway, my comm unit activates. "Quinn," Commander Veek's voice is clipped, tense. "Report to my ready room immediately." I exchange a confused look with Jorah. "Commander, we're at the computer core. I was about to—" "This is a direct order, Lieutenant. Ensign Jorah will secure the area until you return." "Yes, Commander," I hesitate, then add, "On my way." As I make my way back through the ship, I can't help but wonder what awaits me. Is this about the sabotage, or my inappropriate comment? The ship trembles slightly beneath my feet. Whatever is happening with the gravity systems is getting worse, not better. The ready room door slides open at my approach. Commander Veek stands by the viewport, hands clasped behind her back, silhouetted against the distant stars and the looming bulk of Satellite Station 9. "Lieutenant Quinn," she says without turning, "I would like you to explain yourself. Seriously." I swallow hard. "Commander, regarding the signal interference." "That is not what I'm referring to." Now she turns, her expression harder than usual, eyes glinting with something I can't quite identify. "Your comment on the bridge was inappropriate and unprofessional." "Yes, Commander. I apologize. It was a momentary lapse in— Was it intended to distract me during a crisis situation?" The question catches me off guard. "What? No, Commander, it was just—" "Because if this is some attempt at psychological manipulation or distraction—" "It wasn't," I protest, genuinely shocked by the suggestion. "It was just— I don't know why I said it. It just came out." Commander Veek studies me intently, as if trying to detect deception. "In the middle of a security crisis, your first instinct was to make a personal comment about my appearance. Put that way, it sounds even worse." I struggle to explain. "It wasn't my first instinct. I was focused on the signal analysis. And then, I don't know, It was inappropriate, and I apologize." She's silent for a moment, still watching me with that unsettling intensity. Then something shifts in her expression. Not softening exactly, but recalibrating. The Mardak's military culture I was raised in has no place for personal comments or emotional factors in command structures, she says finally. Such things are considered distractions at best, manipulations at worst. I blink, surprised by this personal revelation. Commander Veek rarely speaks about her background. "I understand, Commander. It won't happen again." She nods, but there's still something troubled in her expression. "See that it doesn't. We're facing a serious situation, Lieutenant. I need your full professional focus." "Yes, Commander." "Now," she continues, her tone shifting back to pure business. "What have you discovered about the signal interference?" I update her on my findings, explaining the unusual pattern and my theory that someone is using our own communications array to manipulate the gravity systems. Commander Veek listens intently, her tactical mind visibly processing the information. "So you believe this is a remotely guided attack, not someone physically sabotaging our systems?" "The evidence points that way," I confirm. "But they'd need intimate knowledge of our security protocols to bypass our firewalls this effectively." "An insider," she concludes grimly. "Or someone with access to classified Alliance protocols." Another tremor runs through the ship, stronger this time. Commander Veek steadies herself against her desk. "We need to move quickly," she says. "Return to the computer core and isolate the affected systems. I'll coordinate from the bridge." As I turn to go, she adds, "And Lieutenant, from now on, keep your observations strictly professional." "Yes, Commander." But as I leave the ready room, I can't shake the feeling that something fundamental has changed between us. That brief moment of surprise on the bridge, that 3-second pause when Commander Veek's perfect control slipped, has altered something in our dynamic. As I hurry back toward the computer core, the ship-wide comm activates. "All hands. This is Commander Veek. Initiate cloaking procedures. We have detected potential hostile movement in our vicinity." The cloaking order sends a chill through me. If Commander Veek is taking us dark, she must believe we're under imminent threat. The Astra Vigil's cloaking technology is advanced, but energy-intensive. We don't use it unless absolutely necessary. When I reach the computer core, Ensign Jorah looks tense. "Lieutenant, I've been monitoring communications. There's unusual activity in the subspace bands." "Let me see," I say, moving to the main terminal. The data confirms his observation, encrypted transmissions flickering at the edge of our detection range. Someone's out there, all right, and they're trying very hard not to be noticed. I access the gravity control systems and begin the delicate process of isolating them from the main computer network. It's like performing surgery while the patient is running a marathon. The systems resist separation, designed as they are to be fully integrated. "Commander," I report over the comm, "I'm attempting to quarantine the affected systems, but whoever designed this attack knew exactly what they were doing. The infection keeps spreading to adjacent systems." "Understood, Lieutenant." Commander Veek's voice is tightly controlled. "Do what you can. We're monitoring a potential insurgent vessel on long-range sensors." The situation is deteriorating rapidly. As I work, I access the ship's AI assistant, Aurora, hoping its processing power might help identify the intrusion pattern. "Aurora, analyze the signal interference pattern and identify potential counter-strategies." The AI's smooth voice responds. "Analysis indicates a multiphasic intrusion protocol consistent with amber-black insurgent techniques, but with significant modifications. This attack pattern contains elements of Alliance security algorithms." That confirms our suspicions. Someone with Alliance knowledge is behind this. "Lieutenant Quinn," Aurora continues, "logs indicate unusual access to the communications array at 0340 hours. User credentials belong to Commander Veek, but location tracking places her in her quarters at that time." I freeze. Someone used the commander's credentials? Can you trace the physical access point? Negative. The access was remote, but originated from within the ship. The implications are disturbing. Someone aboard has not only infiltrated our systems, but has access to command-level credentials. The list of people with that capability is very short. My comm unit activates again. Quinn, report to the bridge immediately. Commander Veek's voice is even more tense than before. Bring your findings. When I arrive at the bridge, the atmosphere has changed dramatically. The lights are dimmed for cloaking operations, bathing everything in a red glow. Commander Veek stands at the tactical display, surrounded by senior officers, all wearing expressions of grave concern. Lieutenant Quinn, she acknowledges as I approach. Share your findings with the senior staff. I explain what Aurora and I have discovered, the sophisticated nature of the attack, the use of Commander Veek's credentials, the internal origin of the breach. Security Chief Lorne frowns deeply. Commander, with respect, we need to consider the possibility of a serious security breach within our senior ranks. Commander Veek's expression remains impassive. I am aware of the implications, Chief. That's why I've ordered a complete lockdown of all command functions. From this moment, only individuals present in this room are authorized to access critical systems. I notice the tension among some of the younger officers. Ensign Taro catches my eye briefly, a flash of support in his glance. There's always been a divide between Commander Veek's strict adherence to protocol and the more flexible attitudes of the younger crew members, a divide that I often find myself straddling. Commander, I venture. Aurora's analysis suggests that whoever is doing this has intimate knowledge of both Alliance and insurgent systems. That significantly narrows the field of suspects. Commander Veek nods. I've already compiled a list of personnel with the necessary access and expertise. We'll begin interviews immediately. Another violent tremor rocks the ship, this one accompanied by a blaring alarm. Weapon systems activating, calls out the tactical officer. Commander, the automated defense grid is powering up without authorization. Commander Veek moves instantly to the weapons console. Override. Authorization Veek Alpha 97. Override rejected, reports the officer, fingers flying across the controls. The system isn't recognizing command codes. Manually disconnect the power relays, orders Commander Veek. Trying, but the system is locked down. Commander, the targeting system is acquiring, the officer pales. It's targeting Satellite Station 9. The situation has just gone from critical to catastrophic. If our weapons fire on an Alliance station, even under obvious sabotage, the repercussions would be devastating. Quinn, Commander Veek turns to me, her expression intense but controlled. Can you override the weapon systems from the main computer core? Possibly, I reply. But I'd need direct neural interface access. That's restricted to command-level authorization. For a moment, Commander Veek hesitates. Neural interface access is, indeed, highly restricted, requiring her personal biometric confirmation. It would give me unprecedented access to ship systems. Do it, she decides. I'll accompany you to the core. As we hurry through the corridors, another alarm blares. Cloaking failure imminent, announces Aurora's calm voice, incongruously peaceful amid the chaos. System overload detected. Commander Veek's pace doesn't falter. How long until the weapon systems achieve target lock on the station? At current computing speed, approximately 12 minutes, I reply, consulting my datapad. Then we have 11 minutes to stop it, she says grimly. The computer core thrums with energy when we arrive, its quantum processors working at maximum capacity as they struggle against the intrusion. Commander Veek moves immediately to the neural interface terminal, pressing her palm against the biometric scanner. Authorization granted, Commander Aaron Veek, announces the system. Neural interface active. She turns to me. You have 11 minutes of unrestricted access. Lieutenant, make them count. I nod and take the secondary seat at the interface. This is the first time I've ever sat at the same control panel as Commander Veek. Typically, she maintains her distance, both physically and professionally. As I work to redirect the weapon's targeting systems, I'm acutely aware of Commander Veek beside me, her fingers dancing across her own interface as she attempts to reinstate the cloaking systems. Despite the crisis, there's a strange harmony to our efforts, her systematic approach complementing my more intuitive methods. Someone has rewritten the core security protocols, I report, digging deeper into the system. They've inserted a recursive algorithm that keeps regenerating access pathways as fast as we can close them. Commander Veek's expression is grim. Can you identify the origin point? Working on it, I reply, following the digital trail through layers of system architecture. It's clever. The algorithm keeps shifting, adapting to our countermeasures. 9 minutes remaining until weapons lock, Aurora informs us helpfully. Commander Veek's fingers pause momentarily, then resume their rhythm. Lieutenant, access the secondary command matrix. If we can't stop the weapons directly, perhaps we can redirect the targeting system. Redirect to where? I ask, already implementing her suggestion. Empty space anywhere but the station. I nod and dive deeper into the code, searching for vulnerabilities in the targeting algorithms. As I work, I can't help but notice something unusual about the intrusion pattern. Commander, this code structure, it's familiar somehow. Commander Veek glances at my screen. In what way? It follows Alliance military programming logic, but with specific quirks that I've seen before. I frown, trying to place the memory. It reminds me of the tactical simulations from the Academy's advanced training program. Commander Veek's expression shifts subtly. The Vanguard program? You were part of that? Yes, for a semester. I was recruited for my tech expertise, but I washed out when I stopped myself. This isn't the time for personal history. The point is, this code has similarities to what we developed there. 7 minutes to weapons lock, Aurora announces. Commander Veek's focus intensifies. The Vanguard program was classified. Only a handful of officers have access to that programming methodology, which narrows our suspect list considerably. I conclude, fingers still flying across the interface. A new alarm blares, and the ship shudders violently. The lights flicker, plunging us momentarily into darkness before the emergency systems engage. Cloaking failure complete, Aurora reports calmly. Ship signature now detectable. Commander Veek's expression hardens. They were waiting for this. The sabotage was meant to force us to decloak. Commander, Chief Lorne's voice comes urgently through the comm. We're detecting multiple vessels approaching rapidly. Transponder signals identify them as amber-black insurgents. Battle stations. Commander Veek responds without hesitation. All hands prepare for possible hostile engagement. She turns to me. Quinn, focus on the weapon systems. We need our defenses operational when those ships arrive. I nod and redouble my efforts, searching for a way to wrest control back from whoever has hijacked our systems. The code seems to anticipate my moves, shifting and adapting with almost organic fluidity. 5 minutes to weapons lock, Aurora informs us. Commander Veek stands abruptly. Continue your work, Lieutenant. I need to return to the bridge to coordinate our defense. As she turns to go, another violent tremor rocks the ship, nearly knocking us off our feet. Commander Veek stumbles, and I instinctively reach out to steady her. For a brief moment, we're close, closer than we've ever been, her arm firm beneath my hand, her face inches from mine. Something passes between us in that moment. A recognition, perhaps, or a shared understanding of the gravity of our situation. Then she straightens, nods once in acknowledgement, and is gone, leaving me alone with the humming computer core and the increasingly urgent countdown. 4 minutes to weapons lock, Aurora announces, its synthetic voice calm amid the chaos. I turn back to the interface, mind racing. There must be a way to counter this intrusion. If I can just identify the source, A notification flashes on my screen. Incoming transmission on a secured channel. Cautiously, I open it. A face appears on the screen. Vaguely familiar, though I can't immediately place it. A woman, perhaps 50, with sharp features and eyes that hold a calculating intelligence. "Lieutenant Quinn," she says, her voice smooth and confident. "I was hoping to speak with Commander Veek, but you'll do nicely." "Who are you?" I demand, though I'm already running a background search on her image. "Commander Karam Voss," she replies with a slight smile. "Though it's been some time since I used that rank officially. Commander Veek might have mentioned me." The name strikes a chord. Karam Voss, former Alliance officer, court-martialed for selling classified information, rumored to have joined the insurgency afterward. The search confirms my recollection, adding details. Formerly stationed aboard the Astra Vigil, specialized in system security, discharged dishonorably 5 years ago. "What do you want?" I ask, continuing to work on countering the intrusion even as we speak. Every second counts. "Simply to reclaim what's mine," Voss replies smoothly. "The Astra Vigil was my ship before Veek took command. I designed half her systems. Seems only fair I should have her back." 3 minutes to weapons lock, Aurora reminds me helpfully. Voss smiles at the announcement. "You're running out of time, Lieutenant. Soon your weapons will fire on Satellite Station 9. The Alliance will brand you all traitors. And in the confusion, my team will board and take control." "That's your plan? Turn the Alliance against one of its own ships?" "It's elegant, isn't it? The perfect revenge against both Veek and the Alliance that discarded me." Voss leans closer to her camera. "But it doesn't have to end badly for you, Lieutenant. I've been watching you. You're not like the others, not a blind follower of Veek's rigid command style. Join me, and you'll have freedoms you've never imagined." I keep working as she speaks, using her distraction to gain access to deeper system levels. "Sorry, not interested in treason today." Voss sighs. "Pity. I thought you might be more reasonable than your commander." 2 minutes to weapons lock. "I need to stall her longer. How did you get Commander Veek's access codes?" Voss smiles. "I have friends in many places, Lieutenant. The Alliance isn't as secure as they like to believe." My fingers race across the interface, following a hunch. If Voss designed these systems, she might have left herself a backdoor, something the Alliance security sweeps missed. "Commander Voss," I say, deliberately using her former rank. "You're making a mistake. The Alliance will hunt you down after this." "The Alliance is fragmented and weak," she retorts. "After today, many will question its competence. Some may even join us." 1 minute to weapons lock. I've found something. A subtle anomaly in the authentication protocols. A hidden pathway that bypasses normal security measures. It's clever, disguised as a routine diagnostic function, but it's definitely a backdoor. "You know what your problem is, Voss," I say, fingers flying as I work to exploit the vulnerability. "You assume everyone thinks like you do, that we're all just waiting for a chance to betray our oaths." Voss's expression hardens. "Spare me the sanctimony, Lieutenant. Your precious Commander Veek wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice you if it served her purposes." 30 seconds to weapons lock. I'm close, so close. Just a few more seconds. "That's where you're wrong," I reply, meeting Voss's gaze directly. "Commander Veek may be strict, but she puts her crew first. Always. That's the difference between a leader and a traitor." Voss opens her mouth to respond, but I cut the transmission, focusing all my attention on the back door I've discovered. If I can just reverse its functionality, use it to push a shutdown command back through the intrusion pathway. 15 seconds to weapons lock. My comm unit activates. "Quinn, status report." Commander Veek's voice is tense but controlled. "Almost there, Commander," I reply, fingers dancing across the interface. "I've found a back door in the system, trying to use it to force a shutdown." 10 seconds to weapons lock. I execute the command sequence, holding my breath as the system processes it. For a terrifying moment, nothing happens. Then, weapon systems shutting down, Aurora announces. Target lock disengaged. Relief floods through me. But it's short-lived. A new alarm sounds, and Aurora's voice continues. Warning. Unauthorized access to docking bay doors detected. Exterior airlock sequences initiating. They're trying to board us. Commander, I report urgently. I've stopped the weapons, but they're attempting to force entry through the docking bays. Understood, Lieutenant. Commander Veek replies. Security teams are responding. Return to the bridge immediately. As I race through the corridors toward the bridge, the ship's internal comms activate with Commander Veek's voice. All hands. This is the commander. We are under attack by insurgent forces. Repel boarders. Authorization for deadly force granted. The sound of weapons fire echoes from distant sections of the ship. We've trained for this scenario. But the reality is far more chaotic than any drill. Crew members rush to defensive positions. Security teams coordinate through comms, and through it all, Commander Veek's voice remains steady, directing our defense with the precision of a master tactician. When I reach the bridge, I find it transformed into a command center for battle. Security feeds display skirmishes throughout the ship as our forces engage the boarders. Commander Veek stands at the central console, calmly issuing orders as reports flood in. Lieutenant Quinn, she acknowledges as I arrive. Good work with the weapon systems. Now I need you to secure our command functions. Voss will be targeting our control systems next. I move to my station, working quickly to erect additional security barriers around critical ship functions. Commander, I spoke with Voss. She was the one behind the sabotage. Commander Veek's expression tightens almost imperceptibly. Karam Voss. I suspected as much when I saw the intrusion patterns. She always did favor recursive algorithms. You know her. She was my superior officer, before her treason. I served under her command for 2 years. Something flickers in Commander Veek's eyes. Old pain, perhaps, or disappointment. She taught me much about leadership, both what to do and what to avoid. Before I can respond, Security Chief Lorne's voice comes through the comm. Commander, insurgents have breached Deck 3. They're approaching the auxiliary control room. Commander Veek doesn't hesitate. Lieutenant Quinn, with me. Chief Lorne, converge your teams on the auxiliary control room. No one gets inside. As we move through the ship, weapons drawn, I can't help but admire Commander Veek's calm efficiency. Even in crisis, there's no panic, no wasted motion, just pure, focused action. We encounter our first insurgents near the maintenance accessway to Deck 3. 3 figures in dark combat gear. Commander Veek signals for us to take cover, then emerges with precision fire that drops 2 of the attackers before they can react. I manage to stun the third as he turns to flee. Secure him for questioning, Commander Veek orders, already moving forward. More weapons fire echoes ahead as we approach the auxiliary control room. Chief Lorne's security team is engaged in a firefight with a larger group of insurgents, pinned down in the corridor junction. Commander Veek assesses the situation instantly. Quinn, there's a maintenance shaft that bypasses this section. We can flank them. She leads the way to a hidden access panel, entering her override code to open it. The maintenance shaft is narrow and dimly lit, barely wide enough for us to crawl through. This will bring us out behind them, she explains, as we make our way through the cramped space. When we emerge, target their rear guard first. I nod, focusing on controlling my breathing in the confined space. Commander Veek moves with surprising agility despite the tight quarters, navigating the twisting shaft with the confidence of someone who has memorized every inch of her ship. When we reach the exit point, Commander Veek pauses, listening to the sounds of battle just beyond the panel. She meets my eyes, silently confirming I'm ready, then counts down with her fingers. 3, 2, 1. We burst from the maintenance shaft in perfect synchronization, catching the insurgents completely by surprise. Our combined fire drops 3 before they can react, creating momentary confusion that allows Chief Lorne's team to press their advantage. The remaining attackers fall back, seeking cover. "Hold position!" Commander Veek orders Lorne's team. "Don't let them reach the auxiliary control." As the firefight intensifies, I notice a figure slipping away from the main group, moving not toward the auxiliary control room, but toward a different target. "Commander," I call out, pointing. "One of them is breaking away." Commander Veek spots the figure instantly. "That's Voss. She's heading for the main power distribution node. If she reaches it, she could shut down life support," I finish, already understanding the threat. "Pursue her," Commander Veek orders. "I'll secure the auxiliary control room with Lorne." I hesitate. Splitting up seems risky, but there's no time to argue. I nod and move quickly in pursuit of Voss, following her down a side corridor that leads deeper into the ship's infrastructure. The power distribution node is one of the most critical systems aboard, controlling energy flow to everything from life support to propulsion. In the wrong hands, it could become a devastating weapon against the ship's own crew. I catch glimpses of Voss ahead, moving with the confidence of someone who knows exactly where she's going. Despite being decades removed from service aboard the Astra Vigil, she navigates its corridors like she never left. As I round a corner, a burst of weapons fire forces me back into cover. Voss has realized she's being pursued and is now waiting in ambush. The corridor ahead offers little protection. I'll be exposed if I try to advance. "Lieutenant Quinn," Voss calls out, her voice echoing in the confined space. "I'm impressed you managed to counter my little program. Not many could have found that back door." I don't respond, using her distraction to assess my options. There's a maintenance panel overhead, another access shaft that might allow me to bypass her position. You remind me of myself at your age," Voss continues. "Smart, resourceful, wasted under rigid command structures. Veek has always been too controlled for her own good. All that Mardak's military discipline doesn't allow for creativity." I carefully reach up to the maintenance panel, sliding it open as quietly as possible. "Nothing to say, Lieutenant. I thought we were developing a rapport." I pull myself up into the access shaft, moving silently above the corridor where Voss waits. Her voice continues below me as I crawl forward. "The Alliance is dying, Quinn. Too bureaucratic, too hidebound by tradition. The future belongs to those willing to break the rules, to forge new paths." I reach a junction in the shaft, directly above where I estimate Voss is positioned. Through a small grating, I can see her below, weapon trained on the corridor, waiting for me to appear. "Last chance, Lieutenant. Join me, or share Veek's fate when I take this ship." I remove the grating as silently as possible, then drop directly onto Voss from above. The surprise is complete. She has no time to react before we're both crashing to the deck, her weapon skittering away. Voss is stronger than she looks, rolling with the impact and driving an elbow toward my face. I barely dodge, countering with a restraint hold that Commander Veek drilled into us during combat training. Voss breaks free with a veteran's experience, landing a solid blow to my ribs that knocks the wind from me. "You fight well," she acknowledges, circling warily. "But I've been doing this since before you were born." She lunges suddenly, a feint followed by a sweeping kick that nearly takes my legs from under me. I stumble backward, desperately trying to regain my balance. Voss presses her advantage, driving me back with a series of precise strikes. Her technique is flawless, clearly. The years since her discharge haven't dulled her combat skills. I'm outmatched in direct combat, and we both know it. My only advantage is my familiarity with the current ship systems, knowledge that Voss, despite her expertise, can't possibly have in full. As I retreat down the corridor, an idea forms. "Aurora," I call out, hoping the ship's AI is still monitoring this section. "Emergency protocol, Quinn 7-4. Voss hesitates, momentarily confused, just long enough for the corridor lights to shut down completely, plunging us into darkness. I've triggered a localized power fluctuation, something I programmed during a security drill months ago. In the sudden darkness, I move quickly to the side, pressing myself against the wall as Voss fires blindly in my direction. The muzzle flashes, illuminate her position perfectly. I lunge forward, tackling her, as her weapon discharges again. We grapple in the darkness, each fighting for control. Voss is skilled, but I'm younger and have the advantage of surprise. I manage to pin her arms, using my body weight to hold her down. "Aurora," I call out again. "Restore lighting and alert security to my position." The lights flicker back on, revealing Voss beneath me, her expression a mixture of rage and grudging respect. "Well played, Lieutenant," she says, ceasing her struggle. "Perhaps Vik has taught you a few things after all." Security officers arrive moments later, securing Voss with restraints. As they lead her away, she looks back at me. "This isn't over, Quinn. The Alliance can't hold together forever. When it falls, remember this conversation." I catch my breath, nursing what feels like at least one cracked rib, and report to Commander Vik. "Voss is secured, Commander. Security is taking her to the brig." "Good work, Lieutenant," Commander Vik responds, her voice revealing a trace of relief. "Return to the bridge. The remaining insurgents are retreating to their vessels." By the time I reach the bridge, the situation has stabilized. The insurgent ships are withdrawing, their boarding attempt having failed. Damage reports are coming in from throughout the ship. Several injured crew members, multiple systems damaged, but nothing catastrophic. Commander Vik stands at the central console, directing repair teams and security sweeps with characteristic efficiency. When she sees me, there's a brief nod of acknowledgement, high praise in her economy of expression. "Voss has been secured in the brig," I report formally. "She didn't reach the power distribution node." "Well done, Lieutenant," Commander Vik replies. "Your quick thinking prevented a far worse outcome." Coming from Commander Vik, this is effusive praise indeed. I notice several of the younger officers exchanging glances, clearly surprised by her open acknowledgement. "Thank you, Commander," I respond, trying to maintain professional composure despite the surge of pride her words evoke. Commander Vik turns to address the bridge crew. "All of you performed admirably under extreme pressure. We've prevented a serious threat to both this ship and Satellite Station 9. Once repairs are complete, we'll return to our patrol route." As the bridge crew returns to their duties, Commander Vik gestures for me to follow her to the side of the bridge, away from the others. "Lieutenant Quinn," she says, her voice low enough that only I can hear. "Your actions today were exceptional. Not just your technical expertise, but your quick thinking in pursuing Voss." "Just doing my duty, Commander," I reply, somewhat uncomfortable with the praise. Something almost like a smile flickers across Commander Vik's features. "Indeed. Though I suspect Voss was right about one thing. You do have a creative approach to problem solving." The comment surprises me. "You heard our conversation?" "I monitored your comm unit," she admits. "Standard procedure during combat operations." I nod, wondering what else she might have heard. Voss's comments about Commander Vik's rigid command style. Perhaps. "Voss was wrong about many things," Commander Vik continues, surprising me further. "But she wasn't entirely incorrect about the value of adaptability. It's something I've come to appreciate more in recent years." This is the most personal conversation I've ever had with Commander Vik. I'm not quite sure how to respond. "The ship will need extensive repairs," I say finally, defaulting to professional topics. "The gravity systems took significant damage." Commander Vik nods. "We'll conduct full diagnostics once the immediate crisis is contained. For now, ensure all sabotage systems are isolated and secured. We can't risk any lingering surprises from Voss." "Yes, Commander." As I turn to go, Commander Vik adds, "And Lieutenant, thank you for your loyalty today. Voss can be persuasive. The acknowledgement is unexpected, a rare moment of personal connection from our usually distant commander. Never doubted where I belong, Commander, I reply simply. For a brief moment, I see something warm in Commander Veek's eyes. Not quite a smile, but perhaps the precursor to one. Then she nods and returns to the central console. Once again, the perfect image of command authority. As I return to my station, I can't help but reflect on the events of the day. From that moment on the bridge when my inappropriate comment caused Commander Veek to freeze momentarily, to our side-by-side work at the computer core, to her unexpected praise just now. Something has shifted between us. A small crack has appeared in the ice, revealing glimpses of the person beneath the commander. The ship hums around us as repair teams work throughout its damaged sections. The crisis has been averted, but its effects linger, both in the physical damage to the Astra Vigil and in the subtle changes to its command dynamic. For the first time since I joined this crew, I feel like I've seen a glimpse of the real Aaron Veek beneath the commander's uniform. And somehow, I suspect she's seen something in me as well, something beyond the tech lieutenant, something she values. As we coordinate the repair efforts, there's a new rhythm to our interactions. Still professional, still appropriate, but with an undercurrent of mutual respect that wasn't fully present before. The rest of the crew notices too. I catch curious glances from several officers as Commander Veek directly consults me on technical decisions she would previously have simply ordered implemented. The hours blur together as we work to restore the Astra Vigil systems. The gravity fluctuations gradually stabilize. The weapon systems return to normal operation, and the cloaking technology, though still damaged, is at least secured against further sabotage. Throughout it all, Commander Veek remains tireless, directing operations with characteristic precision, but with a subtle new quality to her leadership, a willingness to listen, to adapt, to consider alternative approaches when offered. By ship's midnight, the worst of the damage has been contained. Commander Veek orders non-essential personnel to rest, while critical systems continue to be monitored. I expect to be dismissed with the others, but she pauses as she reviews the duty roster. Lieutenant Quinn, I'd like you to join me for the final security assessment in my ready room. Several officers glance my way, clearly surprised by the request. Commander Veek rarely conducts one-on-one briefings, especially in her personal ready room. Yes, Commander, I reply, trying to maintain a neutral expression despite my own surprise. In the ready room, Commander Veek gestures for me to take a seat. Another rarity. Usually, briefings are conducted standing, military style. Lieutenant, she begins, her tone formal but not harsh. Today's events have highlighted several vulnerabilities in our systems that need to be addressed. I nod, prepared for a technical discussion about security protocols and system architecture. But they've also highlighted something else, she continues, surprising me. The importance of flexibility in command structure. I wait, unsure where she's going with this. Commander Veek seems to be choosing her words carefully. The Mardak's military tradition I was trained in emphasizes absolute discipline and emotional distance between command tiers. It's been the foundation of my leadership style. She pauses, her gaze direct but not unkind. However, today demonstrated that there are occasions when a more adaptive approach might be beneficial. Is Commander Aaron Veek actually suggesting she might relax her rigid command style? The idea seems almost unthinkable. Your comment on the bridge this morning, she continues, and I tense involuntarily at the reminder of my inappropriate remark, was unprofessional by conventional standards. Yes, Commander, I apologize again for... She raises a hand, stopping my apology. But it also created a moment of awareness that proved valuable. It made me conscious of patterns I hadn't previously examined. I'm not entirely sure what she means, but I remain silent, letting her continue. In the moment you spoke, I was operating on automatic protocols, issuing orders without fully engaging with the specific circumstances. Your comment, inappropriate as it was, forced me to step outside that pattern. She leans forward slightly. Sometimes, Lieutenant, disruption can be valuable if it prevents us from becoming too rigid in our thinking. This is possibly the most philosophical conversation I've ever had with Commander Veek. I struggle to find an appropriate response. I'm glad something positive came from my lapse in judgment, Commander. Something almost like amusement flickers in her eyes. Indeed. Though I'm not suggesting we abandon professional standards entirely. Just that perhaps there's room for adjustment. She stands, signaling the end of our conversation. That will be all for now, Lieutenant. Get some rest. We have extensive repairs ahead of us. Yes, Commander. Thank you. As I turn to leave, Commander Veek adds, and Lieutenant Quinn, your actions today were exemplary. The Alliance needs officers who can think beyond conventional parameters. Coming from Commander Veek, this is extraordinary praise. I manage a nod of acknowledgement before exiting, my mind whirling with the implications of our conversation. The next few days are consumed with repairs and debriefings. The insurgent prisoners, including Karam Voss, are transferred to Satellite Station 9 for transport to an Alliance security facility. The damaged systems are gradually restored, and the Astra Vigil prepares to return to its patrol route. Throughout this period, I notice subtle changes in Commander Veek's leadership style. She still maintains strict discipline and high expectations, but there's a new dimension to her interactions with the crew, a willingness to listen, to consider alternative perspectives, to engage more directly with those under her command. The younger officers respond positively to these changes, their respect for her visibly growing as they recognize that her adaptation doesn't diminish her authority, but rather enhances it. Even the more traditionally minded senior officers seem to appreciate the improved crew cohesion that results. As for me, I find myself in a curious new position, not quite a confidant to the commander, but somehow a bridge between her and the rest of the crew. She consults me more frequently, not just on technical matters but occasionally on personnel issues as well. A week after the attack, repairs are finally complete. The Astra Vigil disengages from Satellite Station 9, its systems fully restored and enhanced with additional security measures to prevent similar intrusions in the future. As we resume our patrol route, Commander Veek orders a ship-wide assembly, a rare occurrence outside of formal inspections or major announcements. The crew gathers in the main hangar bay, the largest space aboard capable of accommodating everyone simultaneously. Commander Veek stands on a small raised platform, her posture perfect as always, her expression composed but not severe. "Crew of the Astra Vigil," she begins, her voice carrying clearly through the assembled ranks. 1 week ago, we faced a coordinated attack that targeted not just our systems, but the very foundation of trust that binds us as a crew. Today, I want to acknowledge the exceptional response that each of you demonstrated during that crisis. She proceeds to recognize specific departments and individuals for their contributions to the ship's defense and subsequent recovery. It's a more personal approach than I've ever seen from her. She mentions specific actions, specific innovations, specific moments of courage. When she reaches the technical division, she pauses. "Lieutenant Mara Quinn," she says, and I feel every eye in the hangar turn toward me. "Your technical expertise and quick thinking were instrumental in countering the sabotage attempt. Your pursuit and capture of Commander Voss demonstrated exceptional courage and commitment to this ship and crew. I stand at attention, accepting the recognition with what I hope is appropriate professionalism. But Commander Veek isn't finished. Moreover, Lieutenant Quinn demonstrated something equally valuable, the courage to speak truthfully, even when that truth might be uncomfortable or unconventional." A ripple of confusion passes through the assembled crew. Few know about my inappropriate comment on the bridge, and none would expect Commander Veek to reference it, even obliquely. In the midst of crisis, Commander Veek continues, Lieutenant Quinn reminded me of something important, that we are not merely officers and crew, but individuals whose strength lies in our unique perspectives and approaches. She straightens, addressing the entire assembly again. The alliance was founded on principles of unity, through diversity, not uniformity, through conformity. As your commander, I have always demanded excellence and discipline. Those expectations remain unchanged. But I recognize that true excellence sometimes requires us to step beyond conventional parameters, to see not just the protocol, but the purpose behind it. The crew is utterly silent, captivated by this unexpected address from their typically reserved commander. As we return to our duties, I ask each of you to remember this. Our strength lies not just in our adherence to procedure, but in our ability to adapt, to innovate, and to support one another as individuals as well as crew members. She pauses, then concludes, That is all. Return to your stations. As the assembly disperses, there's a new energy among the crew, a sense of renewed purpose and unity that goes beyond standard military cohesion. Commander Veek has done something remarkable. She's acknowledged her own evolution without diminishing her authority. I return to my station on the bridge, processing what just happened. Commander Veek soon takes her place at the command center, issuing orders for our return to patrol with her usual precision. As the shift progresses, I find myself occasionally glancing in her direction, still somewhat amazed by the transformation of the past week. Not a complete reinvention, Commander Erin Veek remains every inch the disciplined, focused leader she has always been, but a subtle expansion, an opening of possibilities. Near the end of the shift, as I prepare to hand over to my relief, Commander Veek approaches my station. Lieutenant Quinn, she says, her tone professional but not distant. Is the propulsion system operating within optimal parameters? Yes, Commander, I reply. All systems nominal. She nods, then adds something unexpected. Excellent work today, Lieutenant. You look amazing when you're in your element. For a moment, I'm too stunned to respond. Did Commander Erin Veek just make a personal comment? And not just any comment, but an echo of my own inappropriate remark that started this whole evolution? Before I can formulate a reply, she's moving on, continuing her round of the bridge with the same efficient purpose as always. But as she walks away, I catch the briefest hint of a smile on her lips. Not the full expression, perhaps, but a promise of one. I return to my duties, fighting to keep my own smile contained. Around us, the Astrovigil hums with renewed purpose, its systems restored, its crew united by shared experience and mutual respect. And somewhere in the vastness of space ahead, new challenges await. But this time, we'll face them not just as commander and lieutenant, not just as officers and crew, but as individuals who have glimpsed something valuable in one another beyond rank and protocol. As my shift ends and I prepare to leave the bridge, Commander Veek catches my eye from her command position and nods, a simple gesture, but one loaded with new meaning. I return the nod, acknowledging both her authority and our shared understanding. Whatever comes next, something has fundamentally changed aboard the Astrovigil. A single comment, "You look amazing today," broke through years of rigid discipline to reveal something human beneath the commander's exterior. And in that humanity, paradoxically, we've found greater strength than protocol alone could ever provide. The stars stretch endlessly before us as the Astrovigil continues its mission, its course steady, its crew more unified than ever, and, at its heart, a commander who has discovered that, even in the strictest military tradition, there is room for connection, for growth, for the occasional crack in the ice that reveals the warmth beneath.